Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? The sound should be good. It's it's up in the yellow, so it should be good, but my voice is not on the good side. So hopefully you guys it lasts the entire time today. I was like, I really gotta try my best to it's only week one. Yeah, the guy talking is yeah. We went 2-0 this weekend. So opening weekend. Just fill everybody in. Super proud of the group. Um went 2-0 this weekend, 9-2 on Saturday, and 10-6 yesterday. I was awesome. We were actually down. We On Saturday, our face-off guy won the face-off, ran right down, scored in 7 seconds. I was like, yes, this is a great way to start the season off. And then yesterday, I had my son Asher face-off, um, and he did the same thing. Won the face-off, ran right down the field, scored a goal. Bam! I was like, this is going to be good. And then we went down 1-4, and then I was in the oh my god, we're in trouble phase. And then we ended up fighting our way back, and at halftime we had it. We're down by one. Missed a couple easy shots that we should have had, and then we ended up winning 10-6. So it was awesome that the kids rallied back from being down by three. It was snowing. Yeah, global warming, huh? Yeah, it was like 37 degrees and snowing for the game, but it was very very windy. We had gusts, so I had to yell extra. So my voice is not the best. So, but yeah, this is awesome for this team. I started coaching this team in the spring, or last fall actually, after I stepped away from my other team. And this team went 0-8 last year, so we're already 2-0. So we've already far surpassed, and you know they were in a low division in recreational play, and now I've taken them into the top division of recreational play and club, and 2-0. So pretty excited. But hopefully the win doesn't persist next week because I don't know if my voice will go 2 weeks in a row. So I'm basically gonna do this presentation today and then be done with talking for at least a day. Um, anyway, some decent movement this morning, particularly with the yen. Um, Yen movement again. This is as I mentioned last week. Todd was he's like, oh my god, the yen's dying. I'm like, no, I'm like, this is good. They want this. This is they love this. And then um, Kavara, however you say his name, right? It's Saka Kabara, I think is how you say it. He came out with this at 4:30 this morning and basically said, the current weekend is positive for our economy. Further weakening beyond 130 would cause problems, and all we have to do is raise rates and it'll go up. 100% right, right? I was saying this last week. It's nice that he says it right now. The yen currently is what? Dollar yen is 123.80. So it's got to go all the way the heck up here. So it's not really a problem yet. And all they got to do is raise interest rates. They could bump it back down. They don't even need to do any type of crazy intervention. The same stuff that everybody else is doing. So really not that much, not really a huge problem. So besides that, for the most part, typical Monday morning, we're seeing where the trends are going. We have some dollar strength, obviously, coming into the new week. Um, Pretty much everything, right? Dollar Swiss is back up again. Again, it is reversing a little bit now that we're opening up. Dollar CAD again doing well. Aussie dollar down like 60, nothing big, which is odd because gold was taking it on the chops as well, right? Right, gold was down, and we're only down, 16, right? That's not really that much, right? Considering gold was down as well. So, for the most part, typical Monday morning where we're gonna have to figure out where our trends are. Headlines in the overnight. Again, Todd was not. Todd was like, "Yeah, whatever. None of this matters." I'm like, "Well, this does matter." So, I think oil is going to be a very interesting position to play this week. Reason why is because, again, we're start of the week. We can get some weekly long, weekly size positions in there. Um, Saudi Arabia, we've already seen, has really kind of buddied up with China and said that they can pay in a non U.S. dollar payment system. Yeah. The UAE says now that we're not going to leave OPEC plus, right? And we don't do anything, unilaterally, right? We're focused on, leaving politics out, which again is what the Ukraine war is. I believe that Russia will remain at OPEC plus. OPEC plus must stay out of politics. Minister says we can't substitute Russian barrels. There's no way to eliminate them, right? And then obviously this one that the IE needs to be realistic, wise, and don't tell the world information that is misleading. So again, some of the narrative out there that we've heard, again, the United States can, we reached out and we talked to Saudi Arabia, which turned out to be false, right? Um, so yeah, but interesting. So this is now another OPEC plus nation that is anti-American, or not necessarily anti-American, but in support of a unified OPEC plus, which unified OPEC plus is kind of like anti-American overall, um, just as far as the control goes. So I think that that's pretty interesting. And then I think this is it's considered a minor news event. I think this is big. Russian lawmaker says the G7 refusal to pay in rubles will lead to a supply halt. In all honesty, I think it's great that the G7's like, yeah, we're not going to pay in rubles. But at the same time, Russia's going to give us the big middle finger and say, you're going to do it our way. And again, Russia holds the supply. So if we don't want the supply, then we don't have to pay in rubles. But it's, when the buyer is the one that needs it, right? They have very limited power to what can actually happen, right? I mean, India, they got they got tons and tons of people, right? They already said, hey, you can do things and we can switch things across, you can get around the US sanctions. China says we'll take all the oil you can get. There's many other nations out there in the world that want it. So the G7, I think, is getting a little bit higher on the britches. It's a nice stance, but at the end of the day, this is what we worried about. This is why weaponizing the dollar was a bad thing. And in all honesty, again, taking a step back from everything, I really hope that Russia holds to this and says, no, you're going to pay in rubles. I really hope that they do. You know, I love this that they want to be united, but again, the person that has the addiction that needs the fix typically does not hold the power. But it's nice that they believe that they do. I think it was, the way that they're handling the whole thing. I think it's been absolutely 100% wrong. And again, you make bad decisions. I think Russia ends up, coming out ahead on this one. I think they will be forced to pay in rubles, or they're going to be set back. It's just how it's going to work. Um, Again, taking all personal biases out of the whole thing. So I think it was handled wrong. And another one of the headlines over the weekend was the infamous remove of power. It's funny that they're not talking about it now, but it's kind of a big deal, especially internationally. Um, where is it? I have it up on the other screen. Yahoo Finance, they're calling it the cannot remain in power comment, right? I think that that was absolutely the dumbest comment anybody could ever make. I agree with the sentiment. I think that he definitely, you know, he has no business leading that country. The country will be better off without him. But I'm also not the president of the United States, and I also wouldn't publicly, you know, again, being in the position of power, the comments that he's made recently, if there's any dude that could come unhinged that has nuclear weapons, it would be him. And one of the things that he says is we won't use nuclear weapons unless we are, our existence is threatened. You just told the president of another nation he needs to be removed, but he cannot remain in power. Like, is he going to take that as like you're going to assassinate me, right? Zelensky just says, "Yeah, we're ready to come to peace deals. We got things, but I'm only going to meet Putin in person." If you were Putin, would you leave his protected bunker when the president of the United States, who he already hates, just said he needs to be removed from power? No. So once again, are we halting peace now because somebody can't read the teleprompter correctly? So, and again, if that offends anybody, I'm sorry, but again, Biden is now at a 40% approval rating. Both sides are agreeing that they are very unhappy with the way he's handling the war and the economy. So it's not just my sentiment. Okay, he's at his lowest approval rating yet, and we are 6 months from midterm elections, which in most contests, Republicans are now up by by 2 points. So if you don't like it, guess what's going to happen? All the people that you hate is probably going to get voted back into power because this guy is running his mouth. It's the Obama election all over again. You guys remember that? It was funny, right? This is where all the memes came from, and I love the memes. Those were my favorite part about that election. The Biden memes were oh my god, they were the best. I missed them. I missed them. They were great, right? I love those things. But unfortunately, that's how that election campaign went. Biden would go places and just people would be just enthralled with his, orator ability. He was an amazing speaker, great public speaker, right? People loved it. And then Biden would go talk places and they were like, oh my God, everything that guy said, don't ignore him, forget it. It was kind of like, what is he saying? Why is he saying everything the exact opposite of what Obama just said? Right? It's kind of that all over again. So yeah, both sides are like, yeah, maybe the wording of that cannot remain in power was not the best. Right? Can we get a redo? Let's just hope that, Putin isn't like, let's just hope he's not just like, okay, I'm going to use nuclear weapons, I'm going to use chemical weapons because they're gonna try to assassinate me now, right? And now, and you know what the sad part is, like everyone's always like, oh, there's going to be a revolt. There's that guy that has the bounty on his head. Could you imagine going forward what it's going to look like? Like, normally world leaders are kind of off the table. You don't try to assassinate him. Could you imagine if somebody in his cabinet knocks him off now, and then it's going to be like, well, Biden said he cannot remain in power, and now he's been assassinated? Wow. Could you imagine how that kind of gets out of hand. Yeah. Oh. So yeah. Yeah, fun. Great comments. But that's what's leading us into this Monday. So I think oil definitely comes back into play. The same article that they were talking about the cannot remain in power comment. The Financial Times and Yahoo Finance are basically saying that they're warning that we could see $200 oil prices. If and again, that was written before this comment about we'll just halt supply. We're just going to cut supply off. So I feel like this one is we're messing we're playing with fire right here. And again, something like this 2000 or $200 barrel oil, which is produced before this comment, before this statement came out. Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, I'm going to start hitting McDonald's. McDonald's is so expensive now. I'm going to hit them up for their cooking oil, right? I'm going to ask them if I can have some of their cooking oil so I can run my car. That's going to be my new thing. Um, but the U.S. media has been silent. Yeah, it's shocking, right? um, yeah, Lindsey Graham said something, but when you're a senator that everybody already puts out as a fringe, yeah, he said it, you know. Um, but again, you're not the guy with the button. Like I don't think Putin cares what Lindsey Graham says. He's just a minor figure. Like if AOC made a comment, Putin's not going to care if AOC makes a comment, right? Right? Lindsey Graham, yeah, but he's been known to make crazy comments already, right? That's why he's not the president. So, yeah, Lindsey Graham made it, and people chastised the hell out of him. I mean, Democrats were all over him about saying it. They're not quite as vocal right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure many people think it. Like, listen, Putin just can't be in power. And again, I mean, from our standpoint, our safety. I mean, I live outside of DC. If DC gets nuked, I'm in the blast radius. I'm in trouble, right? You know, is he helping his country right now? No, but the truth is he's in power. That the reality is he is in power. There are bad people in the world that run countries, right? So um, there are warlords right now, that are running countries. So there are definitely bad people. Do I think his country would probably be better off if he wasn't in charge? Probably, yeah. But as the president of the United States making a comment, what happens? I mean, how is everybody going to take it right now if Putin makes a comment that Biden is the single biggest threat to the world peace right now? With the way that the United States is flexing power. I mean, the United States doesn't have many people that love us anyway overseas. If all of a sudden Putin says, you know, Biden is the reason that this war has continued as long as it has because of U.S. aggression, and then China says it, and then India agrees with them, what are we going to put they're going to put a bounty out? I mean, it's no different. So, um, yeah, it's all that. Um, anyway, I keep hearing is, we are the world platitude. I see nothing from other countries. No idea what's actually. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, we're definitely living in a strange time. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Remember, I had this conversation with Melissa because being Canadian, she kind of has a different view on things. I'm like, listen, I was like, I believe that at this point, the media has shown that they are for politics and for views over the truth. Right? We go through an election and you can see one story presented one way and one story presented somewhere else. The reality is, are we actually getting truthful information anymore? And the answer is, I question it. At one point, the news was, you know, the news was considered the authority and the truth. But nowadays, can anybody honestly say that they believe 100% what they're seeing? I don't. Um, we have a White House that just said that yeah, we talked with Saudi Arabia, and that's what their stance was. And Saudi Arabia came out, the Wall Street Journal, again, who is one of the news agencies that many people believe is the truth. They said it, and the White House like, no, it's not true. And then Saudi Arabia says, no, it's true. We didn't have that conversation, nor did we talk, and showed that even that they were lying. So yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I believe that lying happens in politics all the time? Absolutely. I'm sure that it does, right? They're like, oh well, Trump lied. Yeah, you know how many senators and politicians probably lied because, again, rich people lie, guys. I hate to be the first one to break that to you, but there are many politicians that lie. You know, I mean, we have insider trading happening at that level. Mr. Pelosi was absolutely insider trading. Why is there not a ban yet? Right? The Fed needs to ban themselves, but what happened? Supposedly they were going to ban senators from being able to do it, but nothing else has happened, right? So, yeah. Yeah, the people making the laws are the ones that are able to vote for their own vacation, vote for their own pay raises, vote for their own health care, allowed to inside trade if they want because they have access to the economic reports. And again, magically, I'm going to take a million dollar position 2 or 3 weeks before the pipeline gets canceled. Yeah, yeah. Where was the investigation into that? But yet we're still stuck on things from like the 1980s and lying on tax reports. I hate to tell you, rich people do that crap all the time. So yeah, hate to be the first to inform you guys. It's like telling you Santa doesn't exist. So anyway, today we have no other news. Bailey spoke already. It's already done. Tomorrow we have some data early. Nothing crazy though. I mean, Jolts is coming in. Jolts is kind of some people look at it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be the big one. Wednesday is really the big day with the non-farm final GDP and crude oil numbers, as well as OPEC Plus on Thursday. So OPEC Plus, I'm pretty sure OPEC Plus is like, yeah, there's still too much price volatility. We need to stabilize oil. We're going to stay with the 400. I think they are going to absolutely try to stick it to us on their Thursday meeting this week. So I think it's going to be interesting. All right, so let's start up top. First things first, let's start with the VIX. VIX is creeping up a little bit. There's not really any major headlines to really kind of move the markets, but you know, creeping up from where it was. As I said, when you talk about removing somebody, it's like, no, 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 I didn't mean a regime change. I'm like, well, how do you remove Putin without a regime change? I still haven't been able to figure that one out yet, but that's what his intention was we're going to remove him from power, but it's not going to be a regime change. So again, choosing your words is extremely important. Hasn't been a strong suit. But VIX is up a little bit today. So let's go through some of the currencies. So Aussie dollar, you're seeing a big pushback again, and this is the U.S. market opening, which is crazy on this one, right? We're seeing Aussie weakness, right? But we're seeing gold weakness as well. Gold is down 1.17% down to 934. So it makes sense. We were kind of just channeling sideways. So it's nice to see that we have a trend right now. It is a dollar strength-based trend. We talked last week about the 74-74 area being a zone that we were looking for. It had been an old zone in the past. It had its 3 hits, it broke through, then it was the bottom, and it's already had 2 hits in the bottom. So it puts us in a very interesting position in the fact that, do we look for a Harry Potter trade coming out of this? It's 9:51. Are we going to get a reversal from the kind of open today? Potentially. I mean, this I would say that this is very, very much kind of an interest rate based trade, right? When you're looking at this, you're seeing gold down, you're seeing dollar strength. And again, raising interest rates is a dollar strength tool and it is a gold weakness based tool. So it's interesting how this one is playing out. It's doing what it should do. This is what it should kind of look like. And based off of what we're seeing with the dollar as well as gold, it makes sense. So, real question now is how do we react when we hit this zone? Okay. Now, as I said, it's not a fresh zone. It's already been hit twice and it's pushed pretty deep into that zone. The problem with just taking it short out of that zone is we do have some buyers, but again, 1, 2, and 3 hits in there. There's definitely a level where they've eaten some buyers, but the last reaction was kind of nice out of it, and then we don't have a level to lower. So, question is, do we come in and do we look for a bounce immediately, or do we look for the base? So there's 2 ways to handle this one. I think if we come into the zone and we start chopping back and forth in base, and if we don't reverse at 10:30, then we look to go short. And again, we're looking for that kind of confirmation down, re-pull back up again, and again, it doesn't go above the base, and then we look for the short. The other option is we kind of have one of these where we drive into the zone, right? And then around 10:30, we see a push back up again. We don't see the basing. Then all of a sudden, this zone is going to become kind of the entry, and we're going to see kind of one of these as we take back off again. Because again, kind of a parabolic move. I mean, they didn't raise interest rates today. There hasn't really been any major talk about it or anything. So that's another kind of potential for it. Right now, it's too soon to tell, but I can tell you that we've had a lot of movement, very, very fast. Really, from the 8 o'clock window on, it's moved about 47 pips already, with really lack of any major news. Again, it shows me that big money is coming online for the morning. Again, kind of what you expect. I mean, that's not unexpected or anything like that. That big money will come online on Monday morning. But again, it gives us a morning-based trend, right? And again, there will be profit taking, there will be reversals as kind of like the market kind of levels itself out, right? So, sorry about that. I hit myself in the finger. I think that's how we play it. So, really looking to see what happens when we come down in here. This is one, unfortunately, that is not a set and a forget. You got to kind of watch it. If you do want to set an alert, again, put yourself an alert a little bit farther down. Probably, if you're going to set an alert for this one on the downside, I'd set it at 74.58, kind of where the profit target should be. Like if I had to draw a profit target line on the shorts, I would say right there. That's where I would kind of set my alert, which shows me it hasn't reversed. Okay, it's come in. I don't know if it's going to base or not, but again, if you're not there, you need some type of an alert. That's where I would stick my alert at. Okay. Aussie yen. Also having a bit of reversal. And again, right now we've pulled back and we're kind of seeing some basing here. Now, if we take the low to high, it's not the original low. It's really from the last major push from last week, right? Low to high, we're right at 50% with a level of basing. So the question is now, do we see kind of an Aussie reversal at this time? It's kind of hit it and it's fighting it. It's fighting it right now, right? But again, we've made it through the initial kind of first candle at the open today. And if we do reverse, if the Aussie starts getting some profit taking coming in, that also coincides with this one coming and bouncing out of this level. Look how close we are now, right? We're super close. So both Aussie positions are kind of in a place where if a reversal was to occur, there is kind of some, it makes sense in both locations. Now, this 50%, I will say there is another level sitting a little bit lower, so it may need to drop to the 61.8 before we see it, but we still got about a half hour worth of movement. And again, this one will require, what, about 28 more pips to the downside? This one is going to require really not that much, but we know we have buyers right below at 17 pips. This level of profit right here is 17 pips down. So both of them kind of have that same 15 to 20-ish, right? 15 to 20-ish ability right now. We do have, what, 35 more minutes to go. So we're kind of in that right level where it's like, right? I think we could get an Aussie reversal today. All right. Either of those two are kind of set up. Now, Euro pound. Euro pound is driving. So we had an alert. It kind of hit it, and it hit it, went back again, hit it again. Again, this was the position from last week, and we didn't talk about another entry on there because it had already punched higher. That same level of basing, though, right? It hit it here, it hit it here, it hit it here, and pulled back again. This was screaming we were going to break. So now we've broken through. At this point, I'd be looking for some type of a base and a pullback, right? If we can get a base and a pullback, this will give us a long opportunity right here, right? Using that old level of basing and 1 to 3, actually, that's 2.99. I'm right on. You can see that's the next time that sellers really come back, and that would also coincide with the 61.8. So any type of a base and a pullback, I think that's a decent entry off of 83.75. And again, it's nice to know that this one is out now. Again, it did its hits. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. 1, 2. And again, you can see the 1, 2 is here. This is 2. 3 hit it, and then it came down and it started the base. And then it actually hit it again and based again, and then finally drove through. So it was actually hit number 4 or 5 that went through. So great. Again, love the zone. It did what it was supposed to do. It actually did it twice, right? So we can remove it now because we're going to end up using this alert somewhere else. Take that one off. We're going to leave that level on. I wanted to get rid of this black level because we don't need that anymore. So right now, the next alert is at 84.08. 84.08. And again, potential Harry Potter trade opportunity right here, right? Get a little Harry Potter going into the, into Monday, right? But we need a base, a pullback, and then again, a little bit of a takeoff higher. So that one's kind of set up. Euro yen. You can see Euro yen, and again, let me run some fibs on this one. This one's pulled all the way back. Really, I need to run it from there. So yeah, you can see that this one just came through. It looks like it rolled on a 61.8 right at the U.S. Open today. Yeah, well, 8:30ish, 8:30 it rolled. So let's run it from. Oh, it's got a lot more room to go. We're not going to go all the way down. Actually, you know what? Let me run this one on a 4-hour. Yeah, there is some basing in there. I'm going to pull this one across, and I'm going to make this purple. So I'm kind of like, what the heck? Why is it purple? So you guys will know why it's purple from now on. Whoops. Oh, no. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I can get rid of that. I don't need that. I don't need this one anymore. That target hasn't been hit. All right, let's go back down on 30 minute. All right, so again, profit target hit from last week, basing in that level again. I would say right now, obviously a downside target, right? I don't know if I take the reversal off of that, but right now, if you are short, I would say that 134.76. Really, I mean, really, it should be there. Really, the profit target should be sitting here, right? Hold on, I'm trying to get it right there. Yeah, so 134.96 is really kind of where our profit target should be. That's where this last little boom is. I would say we get down to there. Do I have a great entry on it? Not really. We're probably bouncing off the 23. Yeah, we're sitting at the 23 right now. So, again, look for people to get short. What you could do is you could drop this down to a lower time frame, and if we get a break back lower on it, we're obviously getting some basing because we have a pullback. Yeah, you guys see where right now how it's starting to turn, right? You're looking at there. You could say, okay, you know what? If we get a break lower, if you really wanted to take this one, you could say, hey, listen, there's a zone right there. I'm going to go short this way. It's a 23.6 pullback, and there would be my short position if we break out of the bottom side. Look at that. 1 to 3 is not even, it's where the last buyers came in. So kind of a shorter duration based trade on the euro yen. Okay. And again, you need to break out of the bottom side. Don't get shorted yet. So, all right. Euro dollar. So euro dollar also kind of in a similar scenario. Let's go back up to a 30-minute. We don't need to be on a 5-minute for that one. This is where we're kind of sitting, and again, doing the same thing. It's pulled back to the 23.6. Also having some issues at right at 10 o'clock. You're like, oh, is this the reversal level? This is when it would happen, right? Again, it was pretty much straight down, some profit taking before the U.S. base session, and now we're at the 10 o'clock. The 10 o'clock candle is opening. 10:30 is close. Do we reverse back down? Maybe. And we were looking for the 109.40 last week. We got super close. This is one of those ones. It's like, oh man, 5 pips. Missed it by 5 pips. Yahoo is on there. I have the Yahoo Finance article up in the other one. And they're talking about uh, Bidenomics or whatever, however you say that. They're saying Biden's mixed message on oil drilling. So I guess Biden has confused some more people. They're not exactly sure what he said. Just kind of comical. Yeah, I mean, I can't. As far as this trade goes, if you want to get something in super aggressive, yeah, drop down to a 5-minute. You got a 23.6 pullback from the overnight down. I'm still looking for 109.40, and again, 110.40 up top is really kind of where we're playing. As you can see, the 50 held, although I'd be very cautious with it again. There are some sellers just a little bit above between the 50 and the 61.8. But again, there was your morning trade, your 4 o'clock spike into that level, and then again a retest back down in the overnight. So it's kind of retracing, right? Um, get that one dog hair in your face, and you're like, oh, get out. Pound yen. Pound yen is almost retraced completely that whole spike. The 3 o'clock in the morning spike up in the pound yen is now retraced all the way back down again. So I told Todd, I was like, yeah, I was like, a lot of the yen story is already gone. Here's where it was. There's the 8:30 candle. It's kind of out. It's just retracing, right? It was nice to say, yeah, super. It's weak, 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 and then right at 4:30 is when Sakabara came out and said, "This is good for us. Um, and it doesn't. It's good for our economy. It doesn't hurt us until 1:30, and then went all the way right back down." So again, I had one gentleman. I guess he hasn't been with us for 2 years, and now he's I guess officially retired, or I think officially retired. And he asked, what's the things to look out for?" And this setup has really been what's to look out for, right? And you guys know it. Large, kind of unexplained bursts in one direction for some type of reversal, right? I mean, it's almost like he knew. It's almost like the market knew he was going to make that comment. It launched higher, 296 pips up, and then came back 296 pips back down again. So from 2:30 in the morning, we are already there, and we've done what 600 pips worth of movement in 8 hours, 7 hours. So it's almost like they knew. Imagine that, right? Remarkable, remarkable. So anyway, we do have a Harry Potter. We talked about this one last week. Actually, it wasn't a Harry Potter last week. It was a reversal. Went 2/3 of the way down and kind of turned where it should have. Didn't quite make it to its level. And again, it just started the base sideways. You would have absolutely closed this one down. You would have closed it down before the weekend for about a 1 to 1.5, almost 1 to 2 profit. So we'd like to get the 1 to 3s, but we also don't want to hold over the weekend. So I would say right now, the fact that this held for so long, again, it is a candidate. We have bounced off of it. We have almost gotten to it again. I would say it is a candidate for another short if we can come in and base. Again, this is definitely one of the Harry Potter things where we're looking for this. Um, looking for some type of a triangle to be drawn in there, and then look for it to kind of push right back down again. So, um, yeah, it's just this typical the typical Harry Potter setup. So again, if you want to set an alert, you can set an alert just a little bit below, kind of in the 160.95-ish range, probably decent. Or you can watch it, either one. But again, we're looking for basing in there. It's the same. All the yen trades are pretty much the same at this point. Okay. Pound yen. The pound yen also collapsing. Now we talked about some levels last week, and we took a little bit of a bounce off this level right here at 5, and then kind of went higher, and it was definitely building some strength, right? And again, we've seen it now sliced through 2. So the question is, where do we stop? And we didn't really have any levels drawn that we were looking for really till down here. So I'd say right now this one's kind of smooth sailing. It did cause a bit of a hiccup here. It hit it and bounced. It hit it and bounced and came back again, and then started the base in it. But I'm not really, being Monday morning, I'm really kind of just interested to see how this one will cruise forward. So um, let's see. We can actually go the other way. We're at 78. We can remove that now. Let's take that off. Let's draw this from the top down because that's where most people are going to draw it. Yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a base there. Let's see. Oops. That's probably a better level right there. And again, it's funny that that level, again, you can see all the basing there, right? Just happens to be with 50 and 61. So I'd say right now, I'd be looking for any bit of a retracement back to 130, 150. Again, psychological level, it's awesome when that does. But right now, I would say that my short targets, everything in this one are going to be down here at 130.21. There is probably going to be a little bit of a hiccup around 130.42. But really, I mean, we're talking about 20 pips off. I like to see this one continue to push. And the question is, if we do get down here, yeah, so I was wondering if that little basing level right there that we just had, is that going to be the again, it's the 23.6 now. Will that become if we come down to the 130.20, that will now become this level, kind of this little hiccup right there. That level will all of a sudden become the 50, right? If we come down to this level and bounce, the 50 now just pushed itself right down to that same basing level. So it's kind of set up. It's a 23.6 right now, right? If we reverse now 10 o'clock and pulled up, that becomes a 23.6 entry. If we pull all the way down again, it's a level of sellers. Starts to coincide with some fibs in there too. So pretty fun stuff. Um, but as of today, it looks like we are driving forward. Yeah, we're topping a little bit, so there's probably a reversal coming in soon. But right now, it's again pretty decent move. Let's see, is there anything pound wise that just came out? Let's see, but there are doubts over its real intentions. Yeah, the first one is done. Now it's focusing on breaking away the 2 regions, which is kind of what I assumed their first 2 things were anyway. I mean, originally, I don't know. This is such a strange news story. They're like, "Oh, look, they changed their strategy." Todd's like, "It's because they failed." I'm like, I don't know. Originally, when they crossed the border, they said it was to protect the Russian citizens in these 2 regions. That was their kind of first thing. But everybody's like, "No, they're trying to take the whole nation over." I'm like, I don't know. These were the 2 nations that they said. These were the 2 regions that they were saying that they were going to protect the Russian citizens there. That was the first. That was kind of what they said, and we turned it into that they want to take over everybody. Um, I don't know. Like I feel like if they can get peace, I feel like if they can get neutrality, right? If they can get the we were not joining NATO, we will remain this way, and we have security guarantees that it won't happen, and Russia gets these 2 regions, I feel like that's exactly what the original plan was anyway. So I don't know. I don't know. 10% in March, nobody cares. Liquidity, central banks, yeah, nothing really more. Here's the only story from Bailey, right? We're facing very large shock in aggregate income and spending. Yes, unfortunately, there's more to come in the inflation shock rate. That's not necessarily best. There is evidence of a slowing in growth. Again, that's where the pound weakness is coming from. There are risks in both directions for the outlook. Demand pressures will weigh on domestic inflation. Yeah, so him saying that we're seeing this slowing in growth, and again, a lot of it has to do with inflation. They've already raised 3 times. That's probably why we got the weakness. We will see a reversal off this sometime today. So, question is where. Um, yeah, maybe a little hiccup down. I'd really like to get the reversal off this level and not here, but it is we are at the 10:30 time in the 10:30 window. So mm, I hope it doesn't turn here. It's not giving it. There's a little zone back there, but I really don't want to focus on that. I'd like it to go a little bit lower, but oof, this 10:30 is it's there. It's the potential's there. Mm, we'll see. But if it does reverse here, again, we have that 23.6. Again, talking about slowing economies is, whoever makes the comment for it's going to happen for everybody, but whoever makes the comment first is the one that tends to get the weaker one. So dollar CAD. So you're seeing a lot of movement dollar CAD wise. Again, we're seeing that dollar strength today. And again, oil right now is down 6%. It's down $7. We're at 105. So again, this is you're seeing the coupled effect again. Actually, of the last couple trading sessions, we have seen the CAD really kind of start, kind of again. Unfortunately, the coupling kind of is slow sometimes, but it looks like it is finally getting recoupled back again. With this huge spike up, like it's great that everything's going on with this one. Oil hasn't. We haven't seen the actual. Again, the G7 making that comment. We haven't seen the move that you would expect to happen. We've seen the opposite reaction, but I think a lot of this is the market pre-positioning itself. Okay, people see that G7 statement. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, it's going to go high. Let's buy it." So the market is kind of preparing for that eventuality. So seeing it down $7 kind of makes sense. I would say look for CAD shorts. Again, we talked about how in the Dixie, right, the dollar index, we saw that this was having some issues. And again, it's up in an area where we've seen a bunch of sellers. We're definitely high, right? If this one is getting ready to roll, so is the CAD, and we already know we have sellers coming in at the same level. It's an old level. Like we this level's been kind of dinged around a whole lot. More specifically, we know we kind of have two on top of each other, but here is kind of what we're running into. Again, is that the best one? Not really. There's one. I would say that there's two. Here's one right above. So we got it. We kind of got a couple levels it's got to break through. This is a parabolic move, right? From 8:30 on, strong move, right? No real U.S. headlines. Again, this is oil weakness. Again, oil is down 7%, $7. Oil starts to reverse back again as we come in. G7 headlines come through. Russia says, yeah, we're going to cut your supply. That should send oil flying, which should also bring some CAD strength back into the market. So I would say I'd be looking for some, dollar CAD weakness in here. Again, getting back down to that 125 mark. We talked about it last week, getting to 125. You can see we got all the way down to 124.65. So we broke through my target last week on 125. And now we have the parabolic move. And again, any retracement should be shooting for technically 124.95. But again, it would be 125 would be my overall target. And again, look for that basing and look for some type of a confirmation. But I think we're kind of set up for a short coming up here in the dollar CAD. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss peeked its head above. We had an alert sitting there. You can see that the alert triggered. And it's kind of pulled back and is now kind of stuck in an area of buyers. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with this one. I think this is a difficult scenario. Russian peace is great, but is it real peace? Is it not real peace? Are they going to talk about peace? Zelensky's like, we're not giving up any territory. And Russia says, no, we're protecting our Russian brothers in those two regions. And that's a sticking point. As I said, guaranteeing that there's no NATO presence there, guaranteeing neutrality at all times. That's the same as being, if you were neutral in this day and age, it's the same as being your friend. And if he gets those two reasons, I think he gets everything he literally sought out to do. So, I don't know. Peace is good. But again, if we have a dollar reversal like we've seen in other currencies, it looks like this one continues to go lower. How many pips did it move off of that? It wasn't a huge mover. And again, it was over the weekend. Actually, it did move 30. So, I mean, you could have grabbed your 30 pips for the day. Did it at 4:30, a little bit late. I'll draw the 1 to 3 on here. But, again, this was an alert that we threw out. It was from an old level, too. Problem is it's already provided opportunity here. It's provided opportunity here. It's provided opportunity here. And now we're coming through again. I don't know if we're going to get a full... I would say that this one is a little riskier, right? A little riskier. I mean, it's already at a 1 to 1. You were at a 1 to 2 already. So if you're in the straight short, again, your stop loss is already a break even. There's nothing you can lose on it. What? Go here. And we're going to go here. All right, there we go. Ernest was sleeping. All right, so yeah, I mean, this would have been really the third entry from the same level at 93.71. It was an alert out there. We've hit it multiple times at this point. You were up at a 2 to 1. Your stop loss should have you banked in a couple in there. You know, take it as you may. All right, so dollar yen. Kind of talked about this, and again, we've had a pullback. As you can see, this one spiked up. Those comments came out, and this one rallied back down 171 pips. The trade was over, right? The trade was over since that time. Again, nice to talk about. Oh my God, what's moving? But yeah, it had already moved. It was kind of, there wasn't really much to talk about at that point, and now it's really stopped and stabilized. So I still think 123 is the magic number. Again, it will initiate, you know, it will initiate fib traders, right? So with fib traders coming in, I think that's the level we look for. Until that time, we're really just stuck right at this middle area. I don't think it's the safest place to go. There's just really not much more you can do. So yeah, be cautious with it. Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin also had an explosive move. It says up 1.56. For some reason, I think it's from the close of the business yesterday. I guess it's considered like a currency where it doesn't technically close. You had this gigantic push, right? Was what, up $4,000 at its peak, almost $4,000, right? Um, so yeah, big move. And again, kind of makes sense. Um, the more that G7 keeps making comments, the more they're helping cryptos. And it's amazing. And it's amazing. Like I said, I'm not a big crypto guy at all. I can honestly say I don't have a crypto account. I don't trade crypto. I think it's a great idea, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I think there's a lot of risk in there that it will disappear. Somebody made comments this weekend about how Bitcoin is like the new is like digital gold. I guess, but the fact that it can be stolen because it's ones and zeros, there's nothing physical. I don't think we're ever going to get away from the physical world. Um, yeah. Um, I don't know. I would say there's probably some short opportunity, but we'll see. I mean, like things like this, weaponizing the dollar. People are like, well, wait a second, but Bitcoin, you're not going to weaponize that. Yeah, they will. I mean, there are ways to weaponize it. There's ways to ban it, block it from being able to do transactions in countries. Um, it absolutely can be weaponized. It's not that I. And no, let me just. I'm gonna set the record straight. Okay, the way that I look at crypto is the same as everything else, right? They're just assets. It's no different for me. It's no different than a stock. The difference is the risk is bigger. I feel it. I mean, at any moment in time, right? You won't you basically can't outlaw a company. I mean, you can find out there's accounting regularities and then it goes to zero, but for the most part, if you're doing all the right things, right, in a company, the company's just not going to instantaneously disappear, right? It'll have its ebbs and flows, and it's regulated. There's reporting requirements and that kind of stuff. All right, nice job, birds. Um, Unfortunately, with crypto, the fact that the reason why all the reasons why you like crypto and that most of the people that are trading it, they all like it for the same reasons. They're anti-government, they're anti-institution, they're anti any type of regulation. Unfortunately, there is so much that happens on like a grand spectrum that nobody ever knows about, right? Not They don't understand interest rates and bonds and sovereign debt payments and all the behind the thing. So it's nice to believe that the average Joe is like, yeah, I don't want those things. Understand the Fed, all central banks, they serve a purpose of creating liquidity in the market for transfer between nations. Bitcoin was created by a bunch of like college jocks that lost out on Facebook, right? They were like the Winklevoss people. They were like the big reasons why it really took off in the beginning, right? Um, I think to me it's the same concept about why everybody thought the euro was going to be so great, right? The problem is they can track transactions. They know that illicit funds are cycled through it. That's the problem with it, is the fact that by trying to do all the things that they want to do, bad people out there are able to do bad things with it. And that's the problem with it. You know, it's not any more secure. You can steal it from people. You can never get it back again. They can claw some of it back. They figured out ways to claw some of it back. They can track it. You know, Making comments about how we're going to use it to go around sanctions, that's not what the the Bitcoin trader wants to hear. The risk in it, again, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think, are probably the best. But there's 8 trillion coins already. That everybody and their brother. If you're cool, you have your own coin now. There's not really any reason to have that. You have things that people don't understand. Doji is a great coin. It's cool, but it was created as a joke. It doesn't have a cap on how many they can produce. So literally, they can produce an unlimited amount. If you produce an unlimited amount of something, eventually it has no value, right? But yet people are buying it still to make money off of it. So is it a tradable asset? Sure. Is there a lot of problems with it? Yes. Do I think regulation will be great for them? Yes. Do I think we're going to have 8,000 coins later on down the road? There's not really a need to, right? The technology itself, the blockchain technology, absolutely here to stay. But could every country just have a digital form of their currency using blockchain? Yes. Do I think that's where it's going? Yes. The most important question is, how are we going to tax people, right? Because the government's going to want their money. So I think inherently has a lot of issues. It's great, but it is what it is. Um, I'm curious to see where it all goes. Yeah, it's I don't know. I understand all the people that are such big proponents of crypto. It's great. I mean, you know, everyone's like, "Oh, I told you to buy it years ago." It's like, really? How many millions of dollars do you have in it right now? Oh, I sold it. Okay, well, then stop talking. It's kind of my take on it. I think it's here to stay. Like I said, crypto.com, purchase Nadex. So I'm going to have to start doing more analysis on cryptos. And again, if it moves, it's up 605, $53 right now. There is absolutely money to be made today. If you did it, absolutely make money. Don't be that trader that got lucky that it went up. Did you have any idea it was going to go up today? What are your reasons why it went up today? Do you know? No. Okay, then don't tell me that you're an expert and you knew it was going to go higher. Because my question is, were you one of the guys that knew it was going to go to 100,000 this last year? Like, did you know it was going to go break above 60? Because if so, why are you still holding it when it's at 45? Right. So those are all the same people. But again, it is showing us that it's kind of a hey anti. I mean, look at this whole section right here, right? The anti big world, Bitcoin, Ethereum up, AMC up 15% again, right? Up $3. GME up 8%. Dogecoin up 5%. Does anything justify these moves in the meme stocks? Nah, not really. Right? Not really. Right? I mean, AMC and GME have been slaughtered. Now they're like, yes. You know? Now, go back to commodities. Oil taking it on the chop. So we talked last week about a grind down, and we said the area between 108.30 and 107.10 was going to be a major area. And again, we bounced off of it once. We came in, we based in it again. You're like, uh-oh, it's basing. Ooh, that means a drop. We talked about overall targets down here at 103.06. Now it is up about $1.30 since the 10:30 time frame, right? Since 10 o'clock. We weren't really looking for much, and we talked about our targets being at 103. Okay. I do think a lot of the momentum this morning, none of these headlines that we've seen, the G7, the UAE, with the price dropping down, we have an OPEC Plus meeting later on this week. No. We have OPEC Plus talking about what are we going to do next month? Are we going to increase production? OPEC Plus is going to look at this chart and be like, listen, guys, a week ago, right, on the 23rd, we were at 116. Prices are down at 106. It's dropped $10 in the last week. Why would we increase production? Right? The Ukraine war and all the same excuses that we use why not to raise interest rates, they're going to do the same thing. Because if they increase supply, all of a sudden it drops down to 96, and they're like, man, we just gave back another $10. That's billions of dollars we're losing. So, I mean, they're going to look at this and say, hey, listen, prices are already going down. We're not doing anything different. They don't expect us to change anything. We need Russian oil, right? What happens if the supply is cut? We can't, we got we got to be with our brothers in arms here. I don't think they're changing anything. So I think that this is pre-positioning. I think as soon as we get a decent level base, we look for longs this week in oil. I think oil goes up. But I think if we can get to 103.01, I think that's going to be a major milestone. That'll be like a $15 drop in 1 week. That'll be a big area. Now, I don't think our gas prices are going to go down 15 cents, but I mean, maybe, right? A guy can dream, right? But again, we're seeing retracement. Natural gas, kind of the same story. The U.S. market opened and pulled up. We already knew we had some selling in here, and we hit that level and bounced, and then the weekend kind of happened. And again, you're not holding natural gas over the weekend. Um, but I'm curious to see, right now, I can tell you right now, 100%, right? There is no ifs, ands, or buts in my mind. Um, that unusually cold weather snap that they talked about is 100% here. It's 100% here. I can tell you right now that it sucks in Maryland. This morning when I drove the boys to school, it was 31 degrees. It snowed yesterday on March 27th. Yeah. But by Thursday, it's supposed to be back up to 70 degrees in Maryland. So I would say that natural gas is in a very interesting position. I definitely think long oil, but I do think natural gas is going to be hitting a limit. Once people get warm again, I think that will kind of help, for lack of a better word, cool down this natural gas surge. And everybody knew they said it last week. We knew we were going to have this surge. Talking about it and it actually happening are two different things. It's actually here, right? It snowed yesterday. Todd said this morning it's 20 degrees and they got some snow in March, in Chicago as well. Oh God, Sean. All right, Sean. I gotta ask. If you're saying I'm lucky that it's 31, what is it? Where? What is Michigan? what is it, man? How bad is it? Real feel is 1 degree. Yeah. No, Nadex is not going away as a brand. Nadex is a company. Crypto.com owns them. So instead of IG being the overseer for Nadex, it is Crypto.com that is the overseer now. They're the main controller. But it's a good thing because IG didn't really do much. They were, I don't know, I mean, for lack of a better word, they are very much like the British, British, you think British humor, British comedy. They were very not stifling, but I don't feel that they helped Nadex at all. They really didn't help Nadex expand, and they kind of went in the wrong direction. And just there's a lot of barriers there. Crypto.com officially owns Nadex now. There's a lot of things that are coming on the horizon. They're going to have crypto products that you can trade on Nadex, but at the same time, there's kind of rumblings that you're going to be able to trade Nadex on Crypto.com's platform as well. That there could be some opening up. The biggest problem is that Nadex was so kind of bottled in. But imagine if you could trade Nadex contracts on TradingView and trade it on the Crypto.com platform, and if you could trade it on other platforms. That's kind of the rumors are of what potentially could be happening. That they're going to be opening up like the API for it. So that would be amazing for Nadex, having more exposure on more platforms. And the assumption was that IG was going to do that, but they just never did anything with it. They just kind of used it to get into the US market and then just kind of, I don't know, they didn't understand the US market. Where crypto.com is very, very invested, like very, very invested. Like I said, I don't know too many details. I don't work for Nadex. I'm not on the inside. I don't really know anything. Um, but I can just know talking to the guys that I do know over there that some of the things are like, yeah, we're talking about maybe doing this and having the ability to do this and having the ability to do that. None of it's official. It's not like insider information or anything like that. It's just these are the things that they've brought that they'd like to have, and Crypto.com seems like they've been responsive. So nobody really knows. There's no final decisions or anything, but it looks like it could be really cool. Some of the things they're doing, so it'd be great. Yeah, and it snowed on my birthday before a second ago. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So natural gas, I think, cools down. Gold, obviously, gold was taken on the chops, but we talked about coming back to that 50% level. Actually, 8 o'clock, you can see it did. 8 o'clock, it pulled back up to that 50% level, and we came all the way down, and this one is over. We drew this during the Nadex presentation at 8:30. Right here, we drew it. I hate when it doesn't do this. Come on, give it to me. It should be there, but it doesn't want to do it because of that candle. If I go down, will you let me do it? No. I love it. When I go down, it's like, yep, yep, there it is. But it doesn't want to show me that it is out. I hate this thing sometimes. Yeah, it doesn't want to give. If I go down, it puts it up there, but it's like, no, the trade was out there. Maybe if I go farther back. No, doesn't do it. Anyway, there was the gold trade. The gold trade is out from earlier today. Um, Actually, I guess it's not. Well, if I fix it, hold on, let me fix it. There's the zone. That's 1 to 3.5, 1 to 3. So you can see the trade is out. I talked about targets at 91.31. You're out. It's out. There you go. So then you guys got the gold trade from the Nadex show. Yeah, you're out. I do think gold. I want to see if gold, what it'll do now. I want to see if it starts to stabilize. So we do definitely this 91.31. That was our profit target. Definitely some buyers stepping in there, and I do. You guys know I love this when we have the ascending wicks like this. I think that's great. Um, Question is, if we go back up again, are we going to start? Are we going to be able to chew those orders up at the 50? But the trade was in from the morning. I think gold could have a very rough week this week. Um, I think if people start talking a lot about the point 0.5 and the data from ADP and non-farm is really, really good, I think gold. I think gold tanks this week. Uh, Gold and silver. Um, is today going to be the day that it happens? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's fighting, but right now we have consolidation. We have buyers down below. Again, you can see that we have lower highs here. So we're starting to kind of bottle back up again, waiting for the next shoe to drop. But again, if you guys got that trade, I think potentially we can take one more off that 50 level, which is the 50% retracement, which is the 1944.90. And again, it was a level of sellers, a big pop down, a base sideways, and a drop. It just happened to coincide as well when we drew it top to bottom with the 50% retracement level. So again, it was a double confirmation in there for the short, and it is now out because it is at 1931. Silver, bit more choppy. And we talked about two profit targets. You can see we hit it once, and then we based at it, and then we came lower, and then we had all this drama at the second profit target from last week on the short. Um, Really, the problem with this one is there's so many kind of small little choppy levels in here. I think in this short, and again, I do think we stay short silver. 24.55, and then again, I want to hit 24 really bad. I hit my other target. in a dollar CAD last week, but my silver target's like, come on, just go, go. But yeah, I still have the two lower size targets, and I guess we can run fibs on this one as well. You can see the 23.6 is having the issue, although I like the basing level here, which is what we went into in the overnight, and there is one a little bit higher as well. So I think silver, it's got a lot more to chop through, a little bit more difficult of a trade, but I do think we stay short silver. Um, look at Tesla. Look at this. Back over 1,000, right? I guess there was news that Tesla wants to split or something like that. Tesla suspends production at Shanghai facility. Yeah, Shanghai. China is locked down again, by the way. So it's always kind of a problem. Let's look at the ES. So it looks like so here's where we were this morning with the ES. Let's drop this down to 15 and see if there's any trades. For Nadex, we talked about. Actually, yeah, there would have been this. I wouldn't have traded this one. Right. So when Nadex, we talked about a level that we were running into, the 45, 48. And again, it did. It started to pull back down again. You could say, well, wait a second. There's a level sitting right here. And you're absolutely 100% right. There was a level right there. It is a tested level, so there was a confirmation. Here is the 9. Here's the 915, and the 930 was inside of that level. So yes, could you have taken a long off this one? Absolutely could have. Would I have taken it? No, because we have the opposing zone. We know this is a higher level zone from before. There's just not enough room for that 1 to 3, right? Looks like a 1 to 3 would have been here, which would have been at the upper reaches of that level. So it didn't quite have the room for me. And again, now it's 10:30, and you're seeing we're pulling back and starting to have some issues. Could it grind higher? Sure, it could. But we're really, we're kind of locked in. I think the one risk of this is if you can get filled, wonderful. There is going to be a bull trap right here sitting on top because people are going to see that Globex high and be like, hey, that was the Globex high. Yeah, it was an area of sellers and it pulled back. But if we break through that, support and resistance traders are going to be jumping all over this. So it'll be a Globex high trap. It'll be a support and resistance trap. There'll be all kinds of things in there. I think it's for us to break through. I think it's going to take a push, and then I think we get immediate pullback. So could you have traded this one? Sure. Does it match our guidelines? Was there enough room to trade that one before sellers came in? Not really. Not really. So that would have been a close call, but it did pull back on a 15-minute into a level that was confirmed. So again, you guys could have got potentially gotten into that one, and it ran up. I mean, it was close. I mean, it ran to a 1 to 2.5. So I mean, if you're doing 2.5s at the open, again, you're able to grab that one. NQ, NQ also has, let's see, yeah, 915, 930. It also did it, but I wouldn't say that this was an easy grab. Most likely you would have drawn a zone down here. Let's see. Would fib traders have been able to do this one? No. No, you can see it. It was pulling back, right? They would have looked at this and said, 23.6 was busted. Could they have grabbed a 50? Maybe. This is not the best level, but maybe, right? Maybe they pulled this one. It happened at 9, so you would not have caught it at the open. If you're watching it at 9, could you potentially, maybe squeeze that one out? I mean, really, we would have drawn it there, but maybe this got filled. I don't know if you would have cleared the bid-ask spread on this one. Actually, it looks like no. It looks like there's a gap there. So maybe at 9 o'clock, people would have been able to grab that one. I say maybe, but mm, that's oof, maybe if they were even looking at 9 o'clock. So I would say that this one would not have given you the entry. 9:30 is this little red candle, wasn't really pulled back into a zone. It had just hit a small zone. So it's kind of like there's 9:15, 9:30 is the green candle. I think you're really stretching it. I think you're using hindsight as 2020. So yeah, but again, this one is kind of pulling back now, and this is what we're looking at. We just bounced off the 50. It didn't even get it back up to the 23, and now we're rallying back to the downside. So, wonder if there's been a headline. Trade goods. Putin does not appear ready to compromise. Yeah. Well, you know what his thing is, right? His compromise is you're not going to give us those two nations. Okay, I'm not giving in on that. So, and again, that's from the beginning. He says he's going to go protect Russians in those two territories. So, I, I mean, the way that I took it, his goal from the beginning was taking those two things. So, I love these articles about the strategies changed, but I really feel like from the very beginning, his reason for going across was protect Russians in those two breakout areas, which the Ukraine technically didn't have any control in because rebels had taken over both those areas. I feel like that's been his mission the entire time. And I mean, if he gets no NATO and those two areas, I feel like that's so. Yeah, I don't think again, what else can we possibly do to them at this point? Right? I don't really see what else we could sanction that we haven't already sanctioned. All he has to do is play the war of attrition, and he can end up taking all of Ukraine if he really wants it. So I don't, I love how it's like we're going to put harder sanctions. Like, what else are you going to do? We're putting sanctions on 24-year-old, social media stars. That's who we're putting sanctions on at this point. So like, I'm at a loss. YM. Ooh, look at the chop in this one. 730, 930. Nah, I wouldn't have traded this one either. You know, you could say that there's a level of basing right here, but it's not a very clean level, as well as it didn't even hit. So you would not have had a trade entry here at 930. It did take a drop down, maybe. No, I mean, this one definitely no as well. There's just no setup for it on the 15 minutes. So, but again, continuing the drive down. I mean, we're kind of past reversal time, and it's already done a chop in the morning. So, um, by the way, here is your Globex trap. All right, there is your Globex low, European session. There's your peak at 930. Oh my God, we broke the Globex low. Go short. Boom, stopped out everybody. So nice little trap on that one. I'd like to see what it does when it comes down there. There will be a fib trader stepping in there, and it is a level of basing. We do have some ascending wicks. We do have a confirmation. We do have a front run. Hmm. That's an interesting trade setup. Hmm. I'm actually wondering if it's going to pull this instead. Right. So algorithms are going to come in around 50. We do have buyers here. We do have a confirmation. It is a little bit ahead of the 50. The question is it going to need the 50 or will it get front run? If it gets front run up there, wouldn't be surprised. But if it does use the 50, right, there'll always be a little bit of a pullback beyond, like a little bit of a drive right below the number. We have 34,500, which is a large psychological number, right below it, which happens to coincide with the level of basing here, and we haven't gotten back to it. This original, I mean, you could actually draw this original level from here. Touch, 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 build up some buyers, touch again. The 50 is on the very back end of it. Do we break below the 50, touch 45? We touch 34,500, which also is a zone, and does the retracement come off of this level? Kind of what I'm wondering. Hmm. Very, very interesting. It's interesting to watch. I don't know how I feel about that one. We'll see. I think as we go into lunchtime, it'll give us a little bit more direction. And then obviously Russell. Russell was look at the chop there at the open. Yeah, Russell. We said that we didn't really like much into it. It was kind of in a level, but again, it's hit that level here. Look, slice through it, slice through it, slice through it, hit it again, hit it again. Look, I'll come to this across. Hit it, hit it, hit it, based off of it again, hit it again, hit it, and popped a little bit. It's like, yeah, this is not something we want to trade off of. So it looks like there was only one trade setup really at the open, and that was kind of sketchy today. And again, it's Monday, so we always don't get those 15-minute setups at the open. So where we are now, I didn't draw this for earlier, but look at this. If we take this low to high, again, that's the easy draw. You can see that we're slicing off this one. But again, we spiked through it already once. I'm wondering if this is the level that we use. If we use the 61.8. You can see there's the level here. We touched it here. We touched it here. We got front run on it here. Again, kind of looks just like the YM, where if we get one more push lower, we're there. We get one more push lower, we're there as well. And again, ES, we're pulling back to the same level right now, right? And then NQ, yeah, it's trying to push back. So they're all pulling back, and it looks like the 61.8 is where a lot of the big numbers are. So those are your draws for today. So all right, so we went a little bit over today. It's fine. Let's go ahead and do the giveaway, and then I got to go grab the Kipster. Got to grab the Kipster. So Neuro won on Friday, I think. I think it was Neuro. I looked at this beforehand, but now I'm forgetting. I believe it was Neuro, the one. That's probably why Neuro is in big. So Neuro's going for 100. Everybody else is going for 25. So let's go ahead and shut this down, and we will draw our winners for today. Briggs is trying to put up a fight in here. Briggs is trying to get back on the board. Although Briggs used 20 chips to win 25, so a little bit better than a 1-1, but it was Neuro. But let's see. He's got a little bit of people. But Wealth Builder's here. Wealth Builder, good to see you, buddy. We haven't seen you for a while. But typically, when you come here, you win. So I don't know. It's probably why Ernest only put 2 in. All right, winner of today's drawing is, look at that. Neuro buys it with 4. So again, justified. Risk to reward ratio was good on that one. Neuro gets his 100. Look at this. Neuro gets his 100 for win number 2. Look at this. If Neuro wins tomorrow, right? If Neuro wins tomorrow, he'll get his 250, and we have a tie. Look at that. They will be literally within 10 pip chips of each other. 10 pip chips. Actually, we won't be on tomorrow. We'll be on Wednesday, right? Because tomorrow's Tuesday. So yes, look at that, man. The battle between 4 and 5. This is like NASCAR. I actually listened to. I don't think it was NASCAR, but I listened. I don't know if you guys listen to it. You guys ever listen to auto racing? You don't have to be fans. It's amazing how excited the announcers get to do. They get like when it's their turn to talk, they are so excited, like it's the biggest battle in the world in their corner. Even if it's like between like number 11 and 12, right? It is so they are so excited, right? It's like I don't even pay attention. Like I don't have any idea who's racing, who the big popular stars are, but it's absolutely hysterical that they are that. Yeah, it's fun to listen to on the radio, but it's crazy. But yeah, we're gonna have a tie, right? We need some announcers in. So all right, with that said, guys, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I survived. My voice didn't die. I'm not going to talk for the rest of today, and I'll be on tomorrow morning. Again, make sure you guys tune back in on Wednesday. We're going to have the battle for 4 and 5, right? And then again, Debbie, Debbie's a little behind and get a little bit of spacing up top, but yeah, getting pretty heated. And if Sean would just not be frozen all the time, maybe Sean would be able to catch up as well. So I'm creeping on Earth. So, all right, you guys take care. Have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care.